Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm Teacher Jay from Kangaroo Study. Long time no see. In today's video, we'll be talking about fraction questions. For fraction, it is a very important topic covered all the way throughout primary school. Now before we dive into the question, I want to show you some examples first. In a class of students, 1/3 of them are girls. How can we represent 1/3 in a model? Now some students might say that we can draw a long bar and we separate this bar into 3 parts and the girls take up 1 part of it. Of course, this is one possible representation. Now except for this, let's think about it. Are there other representations? We can also separate the bar into 6 units and the girls take up 2 units of it. We can also separate the bar into 9 units and the girls take up 3 units of it. So these are all possible representations. Now let's observe, what are the characteristics of the number of units here? 3, 6, 9. They are all the multiple of 3. So that means as long as the number of units is the multiple of the denominator 3, we'll be able to represent this fraction. So in conclusion, in fraction word problems, we can divide the bar into multiples of the denominator. Okay, now I will show you another example. Tom is buying some food. He spent 1/2 of his total money on curry puffs. He spent 1/3 of his money on hot dogs. How to draw models to represent the cost for curry puffs and hot dogs? Now of course, again we can draw a long bar to represent the total money first. Now in this question there are 2 fractions. How can we represent 2 fractions in 1 bar? First of all, let's recall. To represent 1/2, that means the number of units, it should be a multiple of which number? Of 2. And to represent 1/3, that means the number of units should be a multiple of 3. So that means here, the number of units, it should be a common multiple of 2 and 3. Now, what are the common multiples of 2 and 3? First of all, let me list down the multiples of 2 and 3. As you can see, 6 is one of their common multiples. And 6 is the least common multiple. We call it LCM, least common multiple. So for simplicity, we can use 6 as the number of units here. Now we separate this part into 6 units. And to represent the curry puff, it takes up 1/2 of the 6, and that is 3 units. And to represent the hot dogs, it takes up 1/3 of the total units, and that is 2 units. So you see, we can separate the bar based on the least common multiple of the denominators. So now if you understand this, let's take a look at the question. In a box, 1/8 of the marbles were blue. 7/12 of the marbles were red. There was an equal number of blue and green marbles in the box. The rest of the marbles were pink. There was a total of 581 green and pink marbles in the box. How many red marbles were there in the box? Oh my god, there are so many conditions. Now we can draw a model to represent these conditions. First of all, let's draw a long bar to represent the total number of marbles. Now, in the question there are 2 fractions here. How can we represent these 2 fractions in a bar? First of all, to represent 1/8, that means the number of units should be a multiple of 8. And to represent 7/12, the denominator here is 12. That means the number of units should be a multiple of 12. So now, our task is to find out the common multiple of 8 and 12. What are them? Now first of all, let me list down their multiples. As you can see, 24 is one of their common multiples. And this is the least common multiple. So for simplicity, we can just use this as the number of units. So now, let's separate this bar into 24 units. To represent the blue marbles, first of all, it takes up 1/8 of the 24 units. Now first of all, we make the denominator 8 equals to 24 by multiplying 3, okay? So this gives us 3/24. And that means out of the 24 units, the blue marbles take up 3 units of it. Now how can we represent the red marbles? Again, this time, we first make the numerator, the denominator equals to 24. and this will give us 14 over 24. So the red bubble will take up 14 units. Then how about the green marbles? The green marbles have the same number as the blue marbles, and that is also 3 units. And then the pink marbles, we can compute the number of pink marbles by this. 24 minus 3 minus 14 minus 3 equals to 4 units. So the pink marbles take up 4 units. And there was a total of 581 green and pink marbles in the box. So this number is 581. Now in the question, what do we want to find out? We want to find out the total number of red marbles. And that is the total value of 14 units. Now, how do we find out? We still need to know the value of 1 unit, right? Then how can we find out the value of 1 unit? Let me give you an example first. Let's say I know that 4 units are equivalent to 20. How can I find out the value of 1 unit? That's quite simple. We can just first write 4 units to 20, and then we can use 20 divided by 4 to obtain the value of 1 unit. So that means to obtain the value of 1 unit, there are 2 information that we need to know. The value and the corresponding units. Now back to this question. In the question, are we given any specific value? 581. And what is the corresponding units of this value? It is 3 plus 4 equals to 7 units. So now we can write down 7 units is equivalent to 581. So 1 unit equals to 581 divided by 7 equals to 83. Now in total there are 14 units for the red marbles. So to compute the number of it, we can use 83 times 14 equals to 1,162. And that is the final answer. And we are done. Now let me give you a short summary. In summary, in fraction word problems, when there are multiple fractions, they share the same whole. For example, 1 over 8 of the whole, 7 over 12 of the whole. Then we can separate the bar based on the least common multiples of the denominators. Do you remember? In the question, because there are 2 fractions, 1 over 8 and 7 over 12, we first find out the least common multiple of 8 and 12, and that is 24. Also, to find out the value of 1 unit, there are 2 information that we need to know. Value and the corresponding units. And then we can use value divided by the unit number to obtain the value of 1 unit. Alright, and that's it. If you understand this, take a look at a very similar question here. If you have solved this question and want to check out more interesting contents and check out the answer, feel free to scan the QR code here and join our WhatsApp group. And if you like this video and want to check out more interesting contents, make sure to click the button below and subscribe to our channel. With that, it's time to say goodbye. I'm Teacher Jay, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye!